G'day folks, I've got a puzzle here from Now Store. Let me start opening it. So here we have the Calvin's puzzle 2x4x6 flat version. So it comes in a small box, just a clear plastic box. I'm assuming that you normally tuck into there like that as it's presented, but there you go. Let's firstly remove it from the box, the puzzle there. The box itself, I think this is the same sort of box that they normally send these sort of puzzles out with. No extra details or anything like that. So we'll put that box aside. Here's the puzzle itself. So 2x4x6, it's a Calvin's puzzle. You can see the logo there on the blue face. And unlike the previous one, there's no other designer name. There's a little bit of a history here. So in 2012, 𝙃𝙃𝙄𝙎 3D printed a 2x4x6. It was nearly proportional, but not quite, but it looked fairly proportional. 2013, 𝙃𝙃𝙄𝙎 made a pillowed 2x4x6 from the mass-produced 4x4x6 that Tom van der Zenden had made. So Tom van der Zenden had put one out. He was not the first person to make it, that was Tony Fisher, but my understanding is there was a bit of a problem with some of the turns on that one. So Tom produced one where there was no problem. That got mass produced. 𝙃𝙃𝙄𝙎 grabbed hold of that and made his pillowed version. Now this is the mass produced version of his pillowed version, because this was picked up by Calvin's Puzzles as well. On here I've got the 𝙃𝙃𝙄𝙎 logo. I don't have the Calvin's Puzzles logo, and I'm really not sure why, because I'm fairly sure that they came with them. This is definitely a Calvin's puzzle. You can see a couple of differences straight away. The first difference being that on this one, the white and yellow face are the largest faces, if you like, the 4x6 faces. But on this one, the 4x6 faces are not white and yellow. They're sort of the top, what are they, the 2x4 faces. That's one, for me, a big difference. My personal preference would be to have the stickers like this, but it's honestly just a matter of taste. You can also see here on this one, I think there were a few people that were not entirely happy with the stickers here, just from the point of view that they didn't quite cover all of that sort of stuff. Obviously being pillowed, the turning of this was still fine. No problem there at all. And I'll put that one aside because what we want to focus on now is this new one. So this is a flat version, sits like that. You can see also straight away that it's not proportional in the sense that these two middle layers here are the same, but then the top and the bottom layer, if you like, are not quite the same width as the middle layers. So as to the stickering here, you can see the white and the yellow are the 2x4 faces, the orange, the red, what is this, 2x6, and the blue and the green are the 4x6. It still does have the standard thing, which is if you've got a white on the top, you've got red, blue, orange, green with yellow on the bottom. So that's pretty normal. So what's the weight like? Well, it's quite a bit lighter than this one. So I'm not sure what the weight of this one was, but this is noticeably lighter. So it's going to be, I suppose, easier to play with if you're playing with it for a long time. What about the turning? That outer layer is pretty good. So it's interesting that on some puzzles, the inner layers turn better than the outer layers. On this one, so far, I'd say that the outer layers turn slightly better than the inner layers. So I'm just trying it with this face now as well. On this face, it's the inner layers again which turn the best here. What I'm just finding there is that I do need to hold this one fairly steady here, just to not have it slightly catching there. I reckon if I do it on this side, I'm not sure if it will be the same issue. What's the other face that I haven't tried yet? I think it's this face here. So you can probably get the impression that it's, I don't know what the correct word is, whether it's stiff or it's certainly not 𝙃𝙃𝙄𝙎 smooth. That's my best description of the smoothest sort of puzzle you can get, where it just seems to be so unbelievably smooth. It's definitely not that. I suspect, and there is no lube on here at all that I can see. Just having a really quick look. No, there's no lube and there's no feeling of lube on here. I suspect that it will probably need a little bit of lube just to get things turning a little smoother there. So it's not a bad turn, it's just not incredible. You don't look at it and go, wow, that's the best turning I've ever seen. Now, you can also see here that it's fairly straightforward to sort of move these apart a little bit. That's good in the sense that you can very easily get to that screw, which is right in the middle there. I'm going to say that's the same on this face. And is there a screw there? I think there is one, yeah, way down sort of around here. There's also a screw there. So very simple to get there and tighten or loosen those screws. What I might do is just spend a little bit of time, put a little bit of lube in myself and see if that makes a difference to how this thing turns. All right, so I've put some lube as best I can in this thing. And I have to say the turning has certainly improved. It's smoother and it's the sort of thing that you would hope for, I guess, initially. So I think that's most likely not a bad thing from Calvin's Puzzles, that they didn't initially put lube in. So they're saying, look, if you're happy with it, great, but you have the option of putting some lube in here. These are now very, very smooth. These ones here. Pretty much all of these just seem to be turning really, really well. I really can't remember which face we had that slight catching on before, but it's definitely made quite a big difference to this puzzle so far. So I'm going to, I really can't remember the best way to scramble this thing to get the best scramble that you can get. So initially I suppose I'd be doing this sort of, and there you have it. Well, that's my take on this puzzle. You can see after that little pop that there's a few little bits kind of out here. I can see where they're trying to go. Things do seem to be a little, what's the word? Loose. Let me try and put some of these bits back in if I can figure out how to do it. Well, that was an interesting little aside there. Now, I just want to see if it's still turning. It is turning properly. I don't know if I've put the right pieces back in the right position there. I'm not even sure if it matters with the solve anyway, but there's a clear indication that you may not want to use this for speed solving. I don't even think I was turning it that fast, if I'm being fair, and you could see that still did kind of go everywhere. Having put it back though, it does seem to be turning pretty well. So that's my lesson there. If you're going to play with this thing, don't turn it too fast. I'm obviously a little wary or edgy now. I'm kind of deliberately turning it slightly slower than I normally would. Mostly because I don't really want that to happen again. Maybe I'll just throw caution to the wind and say, well, I could certainly do that. Then I lose, I think, yeah, I don't know. It is shape-shifting, but it seems to me now like I've shape-shifted perhaps a little bit too early. I'm not sure. You can possibly see here with these exposed inner parts that there's now lube on it, which, well, it is what it is. I can always turn those inner 2x2 turns, that's for sure. But again, nothing much else I can do here at the moment. Now, if you've been following me for quite a while, as in, well, since 2011, I suppose, you will know that one of the things about my unboxings, when I used to do them more, was that I was always honest about things. And I want to do that so that people don't look at a puzzle that turns poorly and I say, what a wonderfully turning puzzle. And they just think, well, that's a joke. You can't trust this guy. I want you to be able to trust me in these things. And so my assessment of this puzzle is, this is not a great puzzle, unfortunately. It pains me to say that because I was really looking forward to it, but I have to be honest and just kind of say it just feels a bit loose. There's no way I can tighten this anymore to get any kind of traction or better stability, in my opinion. And obviously you saw earlier what happened when I turned it really not that fast. I suspect if you turn it slowly and keep going like this, it should be absolutely fine. I haven't talked about the price yet. The price is $34 from Now Store. Obviously this is a Calvin's puzzle, so I reckon it's only going to be available from Now Store. And that price, the $34, is the exact same price as the pillowed version from 2014, when that was, so 8 years ago. So the marketing of this has specifically been a flat version. However, you need to be aware that you may get a puzzle like this where it doesn't turn as well as you'd like. The proportionality is not quite there. In other words, you can see that QB there and this one here, I guess you'd want them to be a little bit more properly proportional rather than not quite. So if you're looking for a puzzle which is simply a flat 2x4x6 and you're not that concerned with the turning or anything like that, then go for it. This is the puzzle for you. However, if you are looking for a good turning puzzle, one that seems stable, I'd have to say I'm not sure this is the right puzzle. And when I compare it to the Calvin's puzzle 2x4x6 pillowed from before, in all the time that I solved this thing, I don't ever remember having any issue like that. The other thing is, even though I can sort of pull that apart to get to the screws here, and that's fine, this just feels stabler, and I've never had the impression that it's suddenly going to explode on me. So unfortunately this pillowed version is out of stock at the moment, so if you're looking for a stable 2x4x6, bad luck. This is what you can get. So it is available at Now Store. I was going to almost not release this video, but I thought, no, why should I just release videos where the puzzles are fantastic? This is not quite there. I hope that they will improve on the issues that this has and perhaps re-release it at a later date. In any event, thanks for watching. This sort of